Hello, so welcome back to my channel. In this video, we'll discuss about the string concepts and what are the different ways we can define a string and the other important interview question related to the string. And yesterday we have discussed about the methods, different ways of calling a method and method overloading. So let's start with the string concept. I will quickly create a new Java class. In Java, strings are very special and they're really very important because most of the time we have to deal with string, and string is a built-in class in Java, and we also know that is a non-primitive data type, or we call reference data type. So the first thing we will discuss is what are the different ways we can define a string. So we can define a string by two ways. First one is string literals. Second way is by creating an object of string. So we know the string literals as well, but we know the string, how we can create an object of string, object of class. So the string literals, how we can define a string by string literals is very simple. So this data type string, the reference variable name, and this is the value. So when we are defining a string by string literals, we are not only creating a new variable called str and storing a variable value address. It will all Java in Java, JVM will also allocate some space in the memory for the literal value that we are passing, this address, and this memory value where we are allocating the memory is called Java string pool. It's like, we'll discuss with the diagram. In Java, we have a memory called heap memory, and inside that we have a separate memory location for this is dedicated for the string literals. So Java allocates some memory that is only meant for string literals. This is only meant for string literals, and we call it as string constant pool. String constant pool. It's like a pool of string values that are available for the other part of program. So if we create another variable, say name str2, and pass the same value address, so Java will simply reuse the value that is already present in the pool. So now how it will assign the value in the string pool? So as we define this string str as by literal, so it will create an object address in the string pool. So what Java will do, JV will allocate some memory of this str in the string pool, and it will give a reference of this object to this variable. So next time if I create a next variable by string and that have the same value address, so they both will you reuse the same reference. So it will not create a new object, it will save the this object, and reference will give it to the new variable as well. So JVM can optimize the amount of memory allocated for them by storing only one copy of each letters in the pool. So when we are creating a string variable and assign a value to it, JVM first search in the string constant pool. If found, then Java compiler will simply return a reference to its memory address. It give a reference to its memory address to the new variable without allocating the additional memory. So it will not create additional memory. It will just give a reference of this variable to the new reference of this object to a new variable. So this is. So I've created a new object str1 and they are using the same variable. Str1 and it will also use the same address. So new object is not created in the string pool. They are using the same memory allocation, and the reference object is given to the new two variable string1 and string. But this is not the case in the second option. The second option is by creating an object of a string. So we know how to create an object string using a new keyword and we'll pass the value. So this is how we create an object of this string. So this is the string class. This is the name I've given to the variable and this object, and this is a new keyword, and this is a value of I passed as an argument. So when we create an object, we are defining a string using a new keyword to create an object. So here we are implicitly forcing it to create an object for this class, even though the same object is present. What I mean to say, like when we are creating an object, it will every time it will create a new object in the heap memory. So if I create a new object called name2 and pass the same value as an argument, it will not share the same object that has been created. It will again create a different object in the heap memory, and the name2 will refer to the new object. This look like this one. Created a new object name2 and same value. So every time we create a new object will be created in the memory. So this is one of the string letters are one of the best method for the memory utilization, and as we are reusing the same memory address, and we always prefer to use string letters for defining a string rather than using creating an object of this string. So this is one of the important interview question, like what are the two ways of defining a string and how memory utilization for string letters and the object when we're defining a string by creating an object differs from each other. So in just a summary, that in string pools refers to a collection of string where which are stored in a heap memory. And whenever we create an object is created, string pool first check whether the object is already present in the string pool or not. If it's present, then it if it's present, then the same reference is returned to the variable as the new object is created in the string pool. And in for this object creation, every time a new object will be created in the heap memory. So the other concept is, as we know, the string, a string literals, how it behaves and how JVM handles the string literals. So there is a concept of the string. We know the string are immutable in Java. This is because the concept of this string literals only. Suppose we have uh, two more uh, string literals str1 2 3 4 and all have the same value, call this address. So if one reference variable change the value of the object, it will affect the all other reference variable. This is why the Java objects are immutable. So it means once the object is created, uh, we cannot a string we have created a string, we cannot modify it. Rather than we have to create a new separate string. So we'll discuss, like, as we know, this str both refers to the same object address, and if we modify the str1 and it's get modified, so it will affect the str1 as well. So that's why there's a concept in Java that string is immutable, so that it will not impact the other reference variable. So if we have the value str equals to address, so when we give dot, as we have discussed yesterday, when we give dot, then we can access all the inbuilt method of that class. Such string we know is an inbuilt class in Java. So these are inbuilt method of that string class. So we'll use one of the method. This one. This concatenates means that a specified string will be added to the end of the string. So this one, I'll add a string to my variable str4. I'll try to change that variable value. So now the str4 is str4 address dot concat abc. So I'll print the value of str4. I'll run the program. So now the value is address plus abc. So now what happened is not actually we are modifying the str variable, this address. What is actually happening? Is like we are creating a new object as a string letters. So when we declared the str3 as address, so it was pointing here. The moment I change the str to str.concat abc, it removes the reference from address to here. So it means now str is pointing to this one. It means we have not modified this one. Currently the str4 is referring to str3. str3 is still referring to this one, and str4 is new object has been created in the string pool, and it is referring to this object. It is not referring to this one. Now the link between str4 to address has been removed, and only the str3 is referring to here. So we have not modified this one. We have created a new string object in the constant pool. So this is why, because it will not, because there are multiple reference, they are referring to this object, so we cannot modify, because if we modify the string, it will impact the other variable as well. So this is why strings object are immutable in Java. So that's all for today, and tomorrow we'll discuss, we have seen there are multiple inbuilt string method, and those are very important in our daily programming. So we'll discuss that tomorrow, and for today that's all for today. Thank you.